言おうかなって思ったら何言おうかなを英語で言わなきゃいけない。I have been a truck driver for almost 20 years. English? I don't need it. Why do I have to speak English? I'm living in Japan. I said only 3 words. This is okay. No. Having confidence, only that. If you have confidence, you can make any mistake. You don't care about it. 何言おうかなって思ったら何言おうかなを英語で言わなきゃいけない。日本語でいつも喋ってることを言えるようにする。環境ってことは私詳しくねえからどうしようかな、何喋ろうかな、ちょっとググったりとかしてね。それだと英会話と全く違う勉強してることになっちゃってすごく効率が悪いから、環境なんて考えたことねえよ、これでいいわけ、これを英語で言えるようにすればいいわけ。その練習をする。自分が普段喋ってる日本語を英語にできればもうペラペラになるわけ、自動的に。で練習して実際にペア組む。練習ブツブツ終わったらペア組んでそれについてがっつり喋る。で最後はグループで喋る。でこれを全部我々が回りまくる。これできないあれできないをこの時に習得しちゃう。ちょっとコツ教えんね。あくびするときさ、喉開くの分かる？はーってやると喉開くの分かる？喉開いた状態で喋って、こっから喋って、ここがね全部みんな閉まっちゃってんの。さ、メロディーも分かると思うんだけど聞いてて、日本語喋るときと英語喋るとき音違うの分かる？
高いの
分かる？そう。
ね、
日本語喋るとき我々喉閉まってんの、メロディーも。あれ英語喋るときだけ開くわけ。これ真似すると英語の音が出るから、ちょっとあくびするときにここ開くでしょ。こっから出す感じでちょっと練習してみて。ちょっと今やってみ。あくび開いてるでしょ。もうさ、その音で喋る。
ハロー。
I had been a truck driver for almost 20 years since when I was 19. No, 19 was a high school student. Yeah, maybe 19 to 37. And then I really enjoyed driving a truck because that was my dream. I really wanted to be a truck driver because of my daddy. My daddy was a driver and he took me to many places like rural areas or city side, and I was 5 and I saw his big truck. It was very amazing, you know. When I went on the passenger seat, my view eyes are so huge and wide, and I wanted to be a driver, definitely. But my daddy, he got very angry with me when I was a high school student. I repeated the third year, so I graduated when I was 19. And then I told my daddy I want to be a truck driver. But my daddy, of course, got very angry. He was worried and he really loved me. So he doesn't want me to be a driver. He wants me to work in the office, work in the normal company. But yeah, we argued a lot and I didn't listen to him. Then I went to job interviews, actually 13 job interviews. I was rejected to join the company. All companies told me that we will never hire women truck drivers before. Women cannot drive a truck. And finally, I was almost crying. And my daddy told me, you should give up. Then finally, 13th company, the president told me to hire. Then I joined the transportation company. It was my first experience. So my truck was just 2 tons, but it's bigger for me. Then I practiced driving a car and women was only me. all of the drivers were men. And actually, I was bullied a little bit because my president, he really likes me because of my passion. I practiced, I learned how to read the map, how to drive a car, and we have to understand which road we can't drive because narrow road we can't go through the big car, right? So a lot of things I have to do. And then my president valued me. Then other drivers jealous to me. And well, probably after 3 years, I got used to driving a truck, and little by little my co-workers, they asked me to help. I was so happy to help them, and we got good relationship after that. And my president decided to hire women drivers more. And after 4 years, I forgot, a lot of women drivers came to the company. And when I was 25, my truck is bigger and bigger. The first, it was 2 tons, and next 4 tons, and next 8 tons. Finally, when I was 31, I got 15 tons truck. It was my big dream, and I really enjoyed driving a big truck. I went to the Tochigi, Gunma, sometimes Aomori. It's so happy. And then, after 3 years, my dream finished. You know, I got my home, I got my big truck, it's 15 tons. There is no more bigger trucks. I lost anything regarding my dream, and then started to study English. Before studying English, I tried many things. Going to the sports gym to lose weight, or learning stock, you know, or what else? Dancing. All of them didn't work. Then one of my hobbies was to read a book. I often went to the book of, you know. At that time, I often read, you know, musicians' biological novel or magazines or sometimes comic books. And one day I went back to the book off because I thought my hobby is only to read a book. I can't do anything. Book off is my friend. I went back to the shop and found English book. But first place, you know, English, I don't need it. Why do I have to speak English? I'm living in Japan. But it was 100 yen. And I bought it. And read the book, very difficult. I thought I had never learned this English when I was a student. And the last page of the book, I found a flyer saying that the online school. It was very rare at the time. I was 35, so 10 years ago. Online lesson is so rare. People don't know. But the trial lesson was free. Then I took it. I thought, you know, I had zero English. I couldn't say anything. But I don't know why. I thought I could speak English if I talk with a foreigner face to face in a lesson. I don't know. Right now I understand how much I was stupid, but I took it. And then, you know, I said only 3 words. Yes, yes, okay, no. And the lesson finished after 25 minutes. And I was so scared, and I felt so sorry to the teacher. I couldn't say anything. Maybe the teacher asked me what is my name or where am I from or something like that. But I couldn't say anything. I couldn't understand what the teacher said. And it was very hard lesson for the teacher. And then after that, I feel very sorry and I practiced speaking English. I got a book from the bookshop and I read this book all day to practice. I am 35 years old while driving. I could speak English all day for the next teacher, for the next lesson. And because the trial lesson was 2 times, I should have skipped the lesson, but I don't know. I felt very sorry. yesterday's lesson and I thought I want this lesson success. But the next lesson, the teacher changed it. It was not the same teacher. And I said, my name is Ayumi. I am 35 years old. Teacher said, great, Ayumi, you can speak English well. And I got confidence. Very stupid, right? So great. Only these words, I got confidence. Teacher gave me very big smile and I thought, whoa, I could speak English, right? Did you see that? I'm a native speaker. It's okay. And then after that, I studied a lot, of course. I practiced speaking English while driving like that. But the biggest motivation for me is to find a new word. I often talk with coworkers. I often talk with my clients, my bosses. My world is very small. I was always working alone. My family, my coworker, my bosses, only that, this very small world. But I found a different world and there are many foreigners, they speak English well and I can take a lesson anytime. I can talk with them anytime. This is fantastic, amazing. And this online lesson was not so famous, not so popular in Japan at the time. And then my coworker often asked me, what are you doing? Why do you study English? Why do you speak English? You are just a truck driver. You should do your work. Don't need to speak English. Everyone, not only my coworkers, but also my bosses, friends, my family, everybody told me. I understand because I don't have a plan to go abroad. I don't need to speak English in my job. And I thought I will be a truck driver forever until I die. So I didn't think to change my job and why do I study English? I understand why they ask. But I finally found very different word and also they are cool, Japanese people are longing for foreigners. We are dreaming of speaking English well. Before I was born, right? And then, after that I often take a lesson but my speaking skill is very low skill and I try to practice while driving like that. For example, what I did yesterday or like when I load a pack in the truck, I have to talk with the forklift man or clients and then after loading my truck, I go, right? So when I drive a truck, I practice what was going on before driving a truck. Just, as if someone is in front of me. But it's very difficult and it's so hard. Speaking English is so stressful. Your brain should be, used 24 hours. It's so stressful. It's so tiring. Then I didn't give up. I practiced speaking English every day. And then I didn't know my English skill is improving a little bit. I didn't notice. One day, someone told me, why do I speak English well? In this moment, I realized, oh, can I speak English well? Did you say that? Until then, I didn't notice. I thought I'm always a beginner. I have to practice. I have to take a lesson. I have to talk with the foreigner, something like that. So if you notice your improvements, your English is improving more and more. You will never notice your English is perfect or your English is improving and your English will never be perfect. We have to practice and study forever until you die. Okay? There were some group lessons and we had to introduce each other in the group lesson and the teacher evaluated our skills. Then I of course introduced myself in English and other students as well, and some of them can't speak English very well while others can speak very good. So after the lesson, one of the Japanese students asked me why I can speak English well. And then I said I just studied. Since then, every night, a lot of Japanese students came to my room and they asked me how to study English effectively. And then I said I started English when I was 35 and it has been only 2 years, so I'm not professional, but they said it's okay. Please, Ayumi, please tell me how did you study it? And then we had like this lesson. I taught English all students. They were just not students, our classmates. And the number of students increased gradually every day and day. And after a month, I went back to Japan. I thought, oh my God, I could be an English teacher someday, but my skill is not enough. And I studied English a lot, so hard. And after 1 year, but I was still a truck driver, and I decided to work as a part-time teacher in a major English school. And then probably it's only 6 months, I got the first prize as a popular English teacher in this major school, and my salary went up over and over. Then the part-time salary got over my truck driver salary. Then I decided to quit, but a lot of students in a major English school told me, don't quit. And then I was tired of the method in the major school. They will never have motivation to get the students improve their skills. They just give textbooks and which are very expensive for them, and no students pass the exam, no students can speak English well, and they didn't have enough time. They just come to the school once a week for only 15 minutes. But it was normal for all schools. I didn't care. But finally, I got a lot of students, and the management in the school decided to increase my lesson fee so that the management wants to get profit. And then all students couldn't take my lessons because my lesson was very expensive. And then I got very angry. One day, one student, he is 14 years old, junior high, and he was struggling to pass AChem Pretty, probably. Then he said he was almost giving up. Then I had his lesson, and I checked his material, textbooks, and notebook, everything, and I asked him how has he studied so far. I thought all of them didn't work. Then he was using the material from the school, original material. I checked all of them, it's not beneficial, it's not effective. Then I just asked him to go to the bookstore to get past question, past answer, and word book, only that. Then I taught him how to study English. Just what I do every day here. Then he passed and he spoke English a little by little, and he was shy in the first place, but he got confidence little by little, and then I decided to quit. But I told all of the students that I will quit, I will open my own school. Then they said, don't go, but they said they will come to school in the future once I open my school. And I opened this school after a couple of months. Believe me, no one came here. I didn't have any students, zero. Then I went outside to put the flyer to each home, and also I distributed posters and a lot of things. Then gradually the number of students increased, and then my schedule was full. I was packed with a lot of lessons every day from early morning to till at night. And then I decided to hire teacher Melody, and we first place provided once a week lesson and face-to-face, and it was 50 minutes, right? 50 minutes in a week. But my mind is that actually I thought once in a week for 50 minutes lesson is not enough for my students. And then I decided to have Ayumi Juku, like this style, and I consulted with my dear Melody, and she said, she doesn't know the future, but we should try. And then the first place, me and Junko is, she has a camera, and we had only one student for 8 hours. Me and one student for 8 hours. But look at now, a lot of students came here to study together. And also today, no one is shy. So amazing. Did you understand? Believe me, having confidence, only that. If you have confidence, you can make any mistakes. You don't care about it. Even me, even Melody, even Reiko, we make a lot of mistakes. Don't care about it. Okay? Thank you very much.